Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Online Darts, the Live Lounge. It is Monday, the 26th of October. The clocks have gone back. Halloween is upon us, but we are still here, gentlemen. What a weekend and what a festival of darts we've got coming up. How are we?
Dead. Absolutely dead. Played football, can't walk, not fit enough. should have just watched darts all weekend.
Not a bad weekend for you. Not a bad weekend for you at all. Yes, a very warm welcome. Yes, it's one of those really where I don't know, to be brutally honest. It's been one of those mad weekends. Lots of other stuff going on. Lots of great stuff happening, and yes, it's just been one of those amazing days. One of those amazing weekends. I'm trying really hard to really sell it because, to be honest with you, it's been a mad weekend for us here on Online Darts.
Yes, it's been busy.
What we do,
before we get into
what we do.
I was going to say, no point doing it half-heartedly. We're just going to let the room fill up, everyone, and put some stuff in, put it out on social media so the room fills up. Hope everyone is keeping well in the YouTube chat. We're just going to put it out across social media so everyone knows we are live. But what an amazing weekend of darts. It had just about everything. We'll come on to that in a minute, of course.
Yeah. Currently just putting everything live. Just currently putting everything live on socials. So bear with us. It's been a bit of a mad half an hour. I've actually just got, and I'm not being funny. Can I just say this? Heroes, by the way, from downstairs from my parents, who I'm staying with at the moment. I've just been given an absolute shed ton of Yorkshire puddings. I was just going to give 3 Yorkshire puddings just because why not? What's a Monday? Happy Monday, everybody.
I can top that. Orange 12 for the show.
Geez. Tell you what. Actually, there's a section for the comments. Which one's more impressive?
It depends on where our audience are based. Anything north of Watford, Yorkshire puddings will win.
Well, correct.
No, if Wayne Mardle's watching, though, Orange Twirl is all over it because that man loves an orange.
Of course he does. And, of course, plenty on the show tonight. We're going to look back at the Euro Tour that happened at the weekend. We're going to look forward to the European Championships. We've got Tizzle dropping by again to go through the betting with us, as always. And, of course, there's some big things in the rankings. There's some movement. There's some shakers. And if we've got time, I had a quick look at tour card races and everything like that. Oh, my days. That's another story in itself. So before we get into the action, let's run through, say good evening. Evening, Charlie, Dan, Martin, how are we all doing? Daniel, hello. How are you? Owen, Lendl, of course, as always. Football Seconds, love your videos. Have a good one, lads. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for your sticker as well. Much appreciated. Good evening, Rach. As always, joining us. Thank you. Well, 1-1 in terms of... Oh, no. Orange 12 smashing it up. Sorry, guys. It's what we do. Thank you very much, peoples.
Not good.
You know, it's all about...
That's the Dutch. I bet that's the Dutch, isn't it? Anything orange and they're all over it.
Are you going to have a Barney again tonight?
His name nearly left my mouth then. And I was like, no, let's leave him out of it.
It's a Barney-free show, chaps. There's no need to bring him in. He's not in anything. Charlie will come on to the
give it time. I'm sure we'll find a way.
Mate, Charlie will come on to that situation shortly. But only one place to start, I guess, gentlemen. And we go straight to Riesa for the European Tour in the back end of Germany in the middle of nowhere.
It's the first time anybody's ever managed to go straight to Riesa.
There is that. It was an interesting weekend, and so we're not going to go through every result because we'll be here all night. However, day one we'll do the standouts. The afternoon session.
If I'm being honest, quality in the afternoon. Great. I thought. I thought the afternoon
Ross
session
Smith,
was
by the way.
decent.
Ross Smith is unbelievable. We'll talk about him later, obviously. Ross Smith was class.
Yeah.
I thought the opening game, Scott Marsh, Jason Lowe was a good little scrap. Scott Marsh missed a couple of
The
darts.
opening game was brilliant.
Yeah. The second game, the only thing I'll say about it is Andreas Harrison has the best nickname in darts.
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harrison. It's genius.
Can I just say really quickly, by the way, about this Scott Marsh, Jason Lowe thing, because I remember they mentioned it on commentary over the weekend. Again, obviously, people who have been watching online darts over the while will have known this about Scott Marsh. But do we think he's a bald Phill Taylor? Because I am now can't get that out of my head.
You said it like Phill Taylor had hair.
Well, I mean, for a bit he did.
He had hair there,
and then he turned 6. Well, yes, but he's had a bit of hair on top.
If his dart stood up, we wouldn't be making this comparison.
I disagree. I think we would. I really think we would. It'd be good, definitely. But there we go.
But yeah,
the
stand. Ross Smith was mint. I have to say, like we said earlier, we'll come on to him a bit more later on. But he was good. Nice to see Andy Hamilton winning. Performance wasn't great in round 1, but he got better as the tournament went on. Obviously, not throwing a dart for 3 weeks because of injury. So it's.
I disagree. I thought
not nice to see him throwing well.
No, what I'm saying is that I disagree with saying that he got better throughout the weekend. I thought he just played steady.
He did, and then
I'll be honest. I don't think he actually. Yeah, he just played steady. That was what he did. He did. I don't think he did anything spectacular. I mean, he probably, we'll talk about the Sunday game a bit later, but I don't think there was anything special there. But no, what I'm saying was great to see him on there.
Saturday.
And I thought,
on Saturday.
Yeah, he did, but I was gutted for him because I thought we were getting back into. Well, I say I'm gutted for him. But obviously, the big news for him is obviously he's in the European Tour again. He's in the European Championship, which is huge.
Yeah, definitely going down. I thought Steve West scored really well against Tony Alston. That's like back to Steve West of old, but he's obviously been to his mate Simon Whitlock's and got some of those points because they did some damage over the weekend.
Yes. Absolutely.
And obviously, last game of the afternoon session, Danny Noppet, absolute cruise control in.
That was one of the easiest games of darts thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. The evening session, first game, right. I'm not going to touch on, obviously, Jamie Lewis, but because of Jamie Lewis's performance, Robert Marjanović's performance got overlooked slightly. He actually played really well. Averaged nearly a ton and played some really good stuff. Yes, look, we wish Jamie all the best and hopefully he can get himself together. No one likes to see what's obviously going on. He pretty much broke down on stage. And look, there's organisations, there's people out there, the PDPA, I'm sure, will get him on the right track. But Marjanović, I thought looked decent.
Yeah. Yeah. Marjanović is a weird one for me because he's another one that changed nationality that gives him more opportunities, and I'm not a fan of that. But yeah,
really
class performance. Can't take that away from him at all.
Yeah, at the end of the day, anybody who was giving Yeah, well, anybody that was giving Jamie Lewis any sort of grief on socials, I just thought, mate, you haven't got a clue what anybody's going through. Look, we've all met Jamie, one of the nicest blokes that I'd say on the tour. Very, very shy away from the tour. He deserves success. We had a fantastic run at the World Championships back in 2018. That he was brilliant. And I really just hope that he can sort himself out. You know what I mean? I hope that he can come through it, and because he's a top quality darts player, he's brilliant. So hopefully, when he's on it, he's brilliant. So hopefully, he can come back strong.
Yeah, definitely. Impressed by Martin Schindler as well. Done some work technically on his throw, and I think we're starting to see some dividends of that. I criticised him before. I know we spoke about it, Gob, that before the dart used to come back to the forehead almost, didn't he? But now it's more down at eye level, and I think we're starting to see better performances from Schindler.
I wouldn't say better. I'd say possibly more consistent. I think dropping that means he's got a consistent release in front of his eye line. Above the head, it was a consistent release, but I just think if you lose it a little bit, you can't really see what you're doing wrong. I think dropping that down a little bit just gives him that little bit more consistency, because you think the performances he put in at the World Cup before, when him and MVG had that absolute barnstormer, like, he's definitely got game. He just doesn't show it often enough at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. Work to do though for sure.
I'm quite worried for Kanik as well, because is he Ratajski's partner for the World Cup?
Believe so, yes. I haven't studied the World Cup. Is it?
Or is it Kachuk? I can't remember which one it is.
To be fair, I haven't really looked at the World Cup, if I'm being honest.
This is where one of them's not even Polish.
Right. Clearmaker. Again, Martin Clearmaker is one of the weirdest dart players I've ever seen. We'll come on to him more later on. But again, the same as last week, on the Friday, he was less than convincing. Don't get me wrong, rocks up again on the Saturday and plays well. But he's complete Jekyll and Hyde at the moment. There's no in-between with him. I'm
not being funny. This game, this game was horrendous. This game was horrendous. Sorry to cut in there, God. This game was horrendous. Arsene Balai, first of all, you're not German, you're Albanian. You were born in Albania. You're one of those that, again, like Gob has already said, first Albanian ball player. Yeah, that's the point. So there's a kickoff. But on a serious note, right, appreciate Eurotour debut and all that sort of stuff, but you can't miss 8-match darts. You can't miss 7 or 8-match darts in that game. You know, it was like a cat of nine lives as our Clearmaker. It was ridiculous. But yeah, you know, it was a decent scrap. They played reasonably well. But again, Clearmaker just somehow gets over the line in games where he shouldn't be getting over the line. It was mad.
Yeah. Rasmer against Kai Fang Young, again, just a decent Euro Tour game. I enjoyed that one, if I'm being honest.
Wasn't the best pace to it. Wasn't the best pace to it. It's one for the naturals, that, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
That's not rat-a-tat-tat going to get kids involved in the game, is it? But it's a good game of darts.
F me. That I don't think I realised that how slow Radas Rasmus slow throw actually is. F me. Then
Gob's favourite German, Mr. Max Hopp. We'll come on to him more later on, but he actually had a good weekend. And look, Yella missed a few darts here and there, but Max played some decent stuff.
Max battered it. Absolutely battered it. Yellow, Max was straight out the blocks, absolute on fire. I thought this would be close. I really did think this was close. Yellow missed a couple early on, but
yeah, that's what I mean. Early on, those are the ones that change from running into a lead to being close. Again, Clemens never really pushed at all. Bit of a procession. And one of the surprise packages of the weekend, Jesus Nogueira, the Spanish star.
Where did that come from?
Where
the hell did that come from?
No idea.
I've got no idea.
A decent little run on the Pro Tour. But other than that, like,
yeah,
never really seen him do this. He was superb for the weekend. Another one that can't really count. Soft tip players, but you know.
So to be fair, that's the current theme of soft tip players or European players that can't can. We just expect that now. It makes it fun. We'll come on to day two shortly. Good evening, a few people in the chat room that have joined us late. Birdie Boy is back from Kentucky. Hello, mate. How are you? Kieran, Michael Smith had a good tournament. He did. We'll come on to that as we cover the days, but I completely agree with you. He did. So that was day one. Day two gets interesting. Did Lewis make it?
Did Lewis make a good graphic on this one?
Lewis done well.
Good man.
Yes. First one, Jamie Hughes against Steve West. Oh, Steve West will be kicking himself. somehow Jamie Hughes has won that 6-4. But look, there wasn't a lot to talk about. Let's be brutally honest. No,
just decent doubling.
Look,
simple as plain as that. That was all it was.
Yeah. Second one was interesting. Danny Noppert beating Adrian Lewis 6-3. Spoiler alert, that result means Adrian Lewis will not be going to the European Championships. Jackpot, not there. And he's got some work to do this season, guys.
Yeah, he has. But the problem is he's run into Danny Noppert 2 weeks in a row. And Danny's taken him to town. Danny Noppert's unbelievable. So good. Well, Lewis got out of the blocks early in this one and put him under. And Danny just battered him away again.
Well, you look at AD Lewis though, right? He's at the moment he's provisional World 17, so he'd have to play Joe Cullen at the moment in time for the race for the World Championships. But then you look at the tour card race for next year. AD Lewis at the moment currently is number 90 because obviously he's got to defend a fourth round against Michael van Gerwen. So he's got some work to do at the back end of this year at this moment in time. And as far as I'm aware, and please forgive me if I'm wrong, he's not qualified for the Grand Slam.
Not yet. Obviously, there's the Grand Slam qualifier, which is the lottery of the day.
But we all know Wayne Jones is winning that.
Let's not talk. We all know that Wayne Jones, Steve Beaton will be in there. There's no doubt about that.
You're forgetting Robert Thornton
and maybe Brandon Dolan.
Major.
Brandon Dolan, yeah, he'll be there.
Dolan will qualify outright when he wins the World Cup.
Can we ban him from talking about the World Cup for a kick-off?
Yeah. Michael Smith taking Martin Schindler to town. And I think I said it on Twitter. It was nice to see Michael Smith laughing, joking, and enjoying darts on the stage. He looked so relaxed, Gob. It was unreal.
He did in this one. The problem was that no matter how relaxed and comfortable he looked all weekend, when it got down to it, I didn't fancy him late on that Sunday, and that proved to be right. That's an unfortunate place of Bully Boy's game right now, but we'll get back to that later. But yeah, it's good to see him enjoying these earlier rounds, because if he can take away the stress and the pressure of getting to the latter stages, then it becomes easier and easier to try and win those latter stages.
Yeah, completely agree. Joe Cullen, doing what Joe Cullen does normally on a Saturday, puts in a sparkling performance against Robert Marjanovic. Just normal what the rock star does on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah. Look, not much to talk about apart from Cullen did an absolute number on him. Now, one of the seeds that really good. Yeah. Scott Baker beating the Chin 6-3. And I've got to say, Chin looks in trouble at the moment. Didn't score well, didn't double well, didn't do a lot well, Jar.
Yeah, I can we move on, because I don't want to admit God was right on anything, because I hate doing that. Okay. Look, here's here's the deal, though. Right, you called this a lot earlier than I did, and I'll give you full credit on this one. Although I don't know about the Chin at the moment in time. I don't know what has gone on with him. He's got a Defender Players Championship finals coming up, and that ain't going to be easy to do. And obviously, he's got to do something at the World Championships, because at the moment he's falling into world number 11 territory. And if he falls out that top 10, he's not certain for the Premier League next year. He's no certain for the Premier League, no. So he's got to find something, because his form is just going like that. And I've said this for, I'm going to say, since probably the match play semi-final of last year, his form's just dipped, and he's losing games he shouldn't lead. Yeah, he made a UK Open semi-final this year, and full credit to him. But boys, correct me if I'm wrong in saying this, how the hell did he do that? He survived about 7-8 bullets to get through to that UK Open semi-final. We were there, all of us, and saying, how was he
3 rounds in a row, and he was in position to lose 3 rounds in a row, and he won 3 rounds in a row and cost me a fortune.
He did. I'm going to call it now. Absolutely.
Unless he wins something from somewhere, Daryl Graney is not in next year's Premier League.
Yeah, completely agree.
I can't disagree with you.
Especially not with Dozer winning it, Timmy winning. Like, there's just too many players coming up.
Well, that's obviously at the moment
resurgence
in the
of
top 8. So there's
Sulovic.
that. Yeah,
let's not get sidetracked by the Premier League, or we'll be here till God knows what time. Chizzy, 6-3 over Ron Moulenkamp. Again, fairly straightforward for Chizzy. Ron the bomb.
Dare I say it, he averaged 104.4 and he looked very, very good right up until the minute he lost a game in the weekend. It's the most Chizzy thing in the world. How can you go from that good? Because he's putting his performance in the first or second round every week. He's doing this on the Pro Tour, he's doing this on the Euro Tours now, and then he's just nose bombing out of nowhere and flopping.
Dave Chisnell doing what Dave Chisnell does. Moving on. James Wade, 6-3, playing with playing with the same darts he did last week. He's actually changed for the first time in God knows how long, playing with the Unicorn Code darts. And seems to be working. I thought we're very impressed with Wade across the weekend. We'll come on to that more. But again, in this one, I think he lost the first 2 legs in like 42 darts or something awful. And then he went 12-12, 11 or something stupid like that. And he just showed his class. Bottom game.
I just wish we saw that side of him more often.
Yeah, look, it's obviously there. He's one that's got issues as well because as it stands right now, he's outside the world's top 10. After the weekend, he slipped to number 11. And
don't worry, he'll go
he's
with
defending. This weekend's not good enough though, Jarks. He's defending winners' money from 2 years ago.
He certainly is, but what I'll say is that don't worry, he'll go and win a European Championship, he'll go and win the Players' Championship final, something like that, and he'll be back in the Premier League again next year. That's just how it. That is James Wade doing what James Wade does.
Hashtag wading. Anyway, moving on to arguably the story of the weekend: France Russia beating Rob Cross.
Where the hell did this come from? Seriously, where the hell did this come from?
It wasn't just the fact that he beat Rob Cross. He dismantled Rob Cross.
Like 103 average. It wasn't like he was. It wasn't like he just looked up. He played some outstanding stuff. Be honest with ourselves here, boys. Did any of us know who Franz Roach was before the weekend?
Yes, because I saw him last weekend. However, if you'd have asked me it last weekend, I'd have said no.
Fair. Now, my biggest takeaway is this. I had no idea who the bloody hell he was. But he just played some absolutely superb stuff. He looks like... You can't obviously judge a player on one weekend, but he looked outstanding. Outstanding stuff at some stages. He should have
solid
won.
action.
He should have won
his next
round
works for
game.
him. Yeah. I just can't get over how much he looks like if Phill had a really bad teenage years.
Wow. That's a shout. That's a brave shout.
Fancy a couple of nose rings, Phill? And a lip
Lucky enough, I'd heard of moisturiser. Lucky enough, I'd heard of moisturiser as a child. Again, we'll come on to. Don't worry, guys. We are reading the YouTube comments. We'll come on to them in gaps, but keep them coming in. Loving the interaction in the chat. We're not ignoring you. We'll answer them when we've got gaps. Moving on to the evening session. Krzysztof Ratajski doing what Krzysztof Ratajski does. However, I've got problems with Ratajski. He's not a status quo man. Bring back the effing Wenger boys. Anyway, that's my rant over with Ratajski. But again, this is a game.
That's the only fault we can find in Ratajski. That he's got the wrong walk-on music. The man's a machine.
Well, we can still find some fault with him on the television. That's the point.
Yeah, of course we can.
Stop bursting the bubble.
But again, Clearmacher upped his game 100%, but wasn't enough to do what he did last week. Ratajski 6-4 winner. Now, this game, it was drama-filled, but standard-wise wasn't the best. But Andy Hamilton booking a place in the final day, beating Steve Bunting 6-5, and you could see that Bunting's lack of match sharpness from his COVID lockdown was very evident. But Andy Hamilton gets over the line. Nathan Aspinall, 6-5 winner against Jason Lowe. This was a good scrap. Enjoyed this one. Jason Lowe's one of those players that if you play well, you'll probably beat him. But if you don't, you know where his average is going to be, somewhere 94, 95 mark, and just very
Unless
solid.
you're Michael Van Gerwen. Unless you're Michael Van Gerwen. Like, I still come back to the Saturday afternoon
still going on about the UK
this year
Open?
and think, seriously, how on? I still
I'll
remember.
I still.
Honestly, I still forget. I still can't fathom how Jason Lowe did not win that game against Michael Van Gerwen at the UK Open. I cannot fathom it.
Anyway, Aspinall getting over the line. Then Mensur Suljovic 6-4 win over Gabriel Clemens. Clemens still to feature on a final day of a Euro Tour. However, the gentle Jar, you can move your hand all you want, has started.
This is a double whammy for Jar because A, he doesn't really rate Mensur Suljovic, and B, he adores Clemens and thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread.
But it's Mensur's form.
Well, let's not go down that road.
He's Mensur Suljovic's form. He's starting to be a concern again.
He is.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Here he is. Did I hear right on the commentary as well that
time.
he's been away and worked with a psychologist?
Yeah, he's been to a sports psychologist
And
during the
has
break.
ambition of getting in the Premier League. Mensur is the most laid back, doesn't give a crap, turned down the Premier League at the first chance because he just wasn't interested man I've ever met. And yet all of a sudden something switched in him and he's gone, I'm going to make the most of this. I'm going to push on and I'm going to do bits. He fancies another crack at it. I don't see why he can't. He changed his equipment last weekend on stage and he's been berserk ever since.
No, he hasn't.
If he believes in his game, he's solid. He's back hitting double 14, which he hasn't done like for 6 months. He was awful on that. He looks solid. The pace of him frustrates people. He can score. He can take out the big finishes, and he's learnt to count.
No, look.
Ish.
Until such time as the big Austrian wins a tournament, I am not concerned. He will not be in the Premier League next year unless he wins a tournament, and I don't think he will be. He also currently at the moment, again, he's not in the Grand Slam lineup as far as I'm aware. Please confirm if I'm wrong, and I will happily take that back. But he's not in
at the moment. No, he's not. However, he might be after this weekend. Anyway,
yeah, he won't be.
Michael Van Gerwen, a 6-4 victory over Madas Razma. Again, MVG was horrendous. How he has won this game, I have got no idea. He's been playing now with. Yeah, he's been playing with his C game for the majority of 2020, and he's still making finals when he's playing miles off his best. The man is ridiculous. Yeah, look, it's a mental thing now. Because we'll come on to spoiler alert. But the one time he did get it right over the weekend, he went berserk. But in this game, I've got no idea how he won it. Then from there, Ross Smith beating the unbeatable girl in Price in Risa 6-5. To be fair,
4-0 down. 4-0 down.
Kahunas.
Oh God! I've never seen him. I've never seen you so happy about the fact that Price is. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Price's last 2 losses have been from 5-0 up and 4-0 up. 5-1 up. Sorry.
There's a couple of MVG questions in the chat room. We'll answer them shortly, guys. The MVG questions. But Price
is the best player in the world, Bob.
Price, he didn't look right all weekend, and obviously he put on his Instagram there was some stuff going on behind the scenes. But that's the
last time he practiced with MVG, isn't it? That's the last time he practiced with MVG, isn't it?
Yeah, they were both awful. Then
just one of them got through.
Is from the performance. Up next, this was one of the performances of the weekend for me. Max Hopp 6-3 over Jose de Souza, last week's Euro Tour winner. Absolutely outstanding from Max Hopp. I know we spoke about him in round one, but he just continued that form.
He hit 4 180s in the first 2 legs. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you can't even blame the crowd for this one, because there were games and there were times this weekend where you can blame the crowd, and we're definitely going to get onto that, because that's one of my favourite things to rant about, aside from Raymond van Barneveld. But he was superb without the help of the crowd and dismantled last week's champion. He was so good. The new darts are working for him. They're definitely doing bits for him now. I think he's settled with them. He gets into a nice rhythm. If that first, he's 100% a first dart merchant, and he is as stubborn, 100%. If not more stubborn, on that 20 than James Wade, and that will cost him eventually. But my God, was that a stunning performance from Max Hopp?
Oh, massively. And then Jesus Nogueira was at it again, 6-3 over Ian White. And I think it's fair to say Ian White doesn't like the German crowd. His reaction at the end, if looks could have killed, someone would have been dead. But the Spaniard was at it again. Jar.
I'm going to say this now. I think Ian White is in a world of trouble. Because if he's not winning events, if he's not winning Pro Tours, and he's not winning Euro Tours like he normally does on the floor, where is he going to get his money from? Because we know he ain't winning on the TV. So where is he getting his money from? I appreciate the crowd isn't great, but at the end of the day, he's won in Germany before. So I don't get why the crowd is that big of a deal for him. But I genuinely think that White's in trouble. Again, he's got to find something, and quick.
Agreed. Before we come on to the final day, I'll just run through a few questions that are in there. Do we think Peter Wright will go on to the European Champ? We'll come on to that when we cover the Euros. Wales for the World Cup, I agree. Michael Smith needs to stay off the Red Bull. Yeah, he did get slightly excited at the weekend with his caffeine intake. Rob Cross struggling this year massively. Completely agree, guys. Why is MVG always favourite for a tournament? Well, we'll cover that
because he's the world number one.
The Europeans.
Because when he plays crap, he gets away with it. Quite clearly.
Yeah. And again, how did MVG make the final? Do you think he's trying too hard? I just think that a trip to Steve Peters might help at the moment. If you can sort Ronnie O'Sullivan's head out, then. But anyway, we'll come on. We'll answer some of the other ones that we've missed. We're not ignoring them, but they're more relevant to the end of the show, guys. Right, the final day. We've got half a graphic, and then we've got Wikipedia up on our screen. So don't worry, we're covered. I didn't see this game because obviously it was on the first game, which I always miss in the session. But I'm guessing from social media, Michael Van Gogh wasn't too happy with Andy Hamilton. I've watched it back.
Yes,
I didn't see too much wrong, if I'm being honest.
Well, I personally think MVG was probably trying to psych himself up and say he was trying to put you off, but there's no way of putting this. The way of putting this, he was toss. And Andy Hamilton probably should have. If Andy Hamilton could have doubled better, he would have knocked him out of that performance. Van Gerwen just wasn't at the races again on a Sunday afternoon. It just didn't look like his head was in the game. It looked like his head was elsewhere. A solid performance from the Hammer, but you can't afford to miss 9 darts at a double if you're going to beat Michael Van Gerwen. It's as simple as plain as that. I thought personally maybe that Hammer was thinking let's just free roll here because he'd already qualified for the World Championships. So for the European Championships, excuse me. So he just thought let's free roll a little bit here. But I didn't see anything particularly wrong with Van Gerwen here. But I want to talk about this next game quickly, Phil, because I know we've got a lot that we need to cram in. Jay's Wade against Nathan Aspinall. This game was tremendous. Brilliant performance from Wadey. He was averaging 105, 106 throughout the entire game pretty much. And that, for most people, was 112, 113, didn't it, Gob? With the way he scores. And he took out a fish as well. Took out the big fish.
See, we missed the fish earlier, by the way. Kanik had 1 from 7 on his doubles and he took out a big fish. That was unbelievable. But yeah, this is the James Wade I want to see more of because he's obviously got the game, he's obviously got the ability, and then there seems to be, if he doesn't really get going into a match with somebody big, he hasn't beaten Michael Van Gerwen in a ranking event since like 2017 or something ridiculous. It's a horrid record. I can't remember when it is, but we'll dig it out.
Just watching,
but yeah,
just touching on that. Watching Wadey recently, he's all about the start of the game. If he starts well, he's in it for the whole game. But if he doesn't start well, he struggles to find a way to get himself into a game.
And even in the televised events or the majors, when he has an interval and a break, if players are playing badly, you'll often see them make a change or do something different when they come back out from a break. And when we've seen Wade over that distance, he hasn't done anything different. It's just been flat the entire way. So even if he doesn't start well, he needs to find a way to use that break that you're going to get at the European Championships to push on and do something different if it's not quite going for him.
I know we're going to talk about the Euros in a second, but can I just talk about this 16-game session that we've got on the Thursday? The amount of advertising breaks that ITV are going to take. Goodness gracious me, it's going to be a long night.
Yes, it is. The Tungsten Terminator, Christoph Ratajski, breaking German hearts. It was only a 6-5 victory. Yeah. It's better than the Polish Eagles. It's a lot better. The Tungsten Terminator is much better. You can brand it much better. It's all about branding, Jar.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that 100%. I think. I mean, I'm happy with it. Happy days.
But again, France. Again, what a performance from this young man! And if he can carry on these performances, he's got a big future in the game. But it was the cool, calm, and collected Ratajski that done the damage.
Rowett's missed so many match starts again at this time. It was mental, really. Both players pretty much averaging 103, 104 for the majority of the game. This is a Euro Tour Uber Alles classic. What worth the time? Go and watch it again if you have the time.
Yes. Then the Austrian demolition job of Jamie Hughes, 6-2. Flutter your eyebrows all you want there, Jar. You know it was good. No, well, it was just one of those ones where Jamie Hughes wasn't in the same league as Mentor Sulovic. But then from there, Ross Smith, another victory. No, Smudger on the move, beating Max Hopp 6-4. Hopp didn't live up to his last two performances, but Smudger, a lot to like about Ross Smith.
Look, God, you can go on this one, mate, but I'll go after you.
I'm saying it now. I'm putting a couple of quid on Ross as an each way this weekend. He looks superb. Admittedly, that there are times when his game drops a little bit, like the start of the Gezi match when he went 4-0 down. He had absolutely no range whatsoever. But the minute he found his range on that treble, his scoring power out of nowhere is phenomenal. He looks calm and composed again. The 2 weekend runs that he's had make him look solid. He doesn't look flustered by anything. It looks like he could go on and win things. And let's be honest, Ross Smith 2 to 3 years ago was a player that was floating between losing his tour card every now and then. Like, such an upturn in form and mentality is solid from him.
Well, here's the deal with Ross Smith, and I've met him a couple of times. We all have, and he's one of the nicest blokes off the hockey as well. An absolute laugh, by the way. If you ever get a chance to meet Ross, what a hero he is. But I'm so happy for Smudge.
First pro I ever did an exhibition with, and he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you know the thing about Smudge is this is that he's such a likable human being. Really got a lot of time for him, and I'm so happy more than anything else for him. He deserves everything that he gets. And obviously, again, we'll talk about the European Championship draw, but he plays a certain man who he knocked out in round 1 last year.
Yes, we'll come on to that shortly. But then Joe Cullen, 6-1 demolition job of a very much out of sorts Dave Chisnell. Like we said earlier, it's either 104 or 81.
God.
There's just nothing in between for Chizzy at the moment.
Where was the doubling as well? The doubles just went mental. It was like ridiculous just how bad he was on the doubles.
Yeah,
I think it's the action.
Joe Cullen
has to be the action.
We've said it. Yeah, it just doesn't stand up under pressure. We've said this for a long, long time, and every time we're proven right. Yeah. Moving on.
Fair point.
Michael Smith, 6-1 over Jesus Nogueira. Again, comfortable for Bully Boy in that. Well, to be fair, I think the last 2 games, there's not a lot to talk about because Danny Noppet was also very comfortable against Scott Baker. Couple of one, Kryptonite A1, thank you very much for liking the channel. Just obviously, I've worked in the betting industry for a while, mate. the bookies will never take the chance on MVG pushing him out to a big price because people will lump on it. It'll go ballistic and they'll lose a fortune. Is pretty much it, mate. They'll never take the risk. No matter, yes, I agree, he's not playing well right now, but they'll never take the risk on lumping his price out anywhere near backable. Just the way it works. Moving on to the evening session. And this was the one game where Michael Van Gerwen rocked up against James Wade. 6'3", 102 average, but he was around the 107 for most of it. Wade, an impressive 99 average, didn't do a lot wrong, just ran into the green machine when he fired.
Typical, isn't it? I think they call it the law of sod, Philip. He showed that if he clicks, he still got it. There's still emotion there. He still wants to win. He's still got the top level game. It just has to be a mental block, the way he's dipping in and out and not picking up finals and all that sort of thing at the minute. There's no other reason for it.
No, definitely. And then this next game, until the 11th leg, was absolutely mince. The first 10 legs of Krzysztof Ratajski and Mensur Suljovic was unbelievable. And then they had a funny 5 minutes and just missed big numbers and max darts, the pair of them. But just a great game of darts. But it was the Austrian who got the job done 6-5 in the final leg. And at this point, Jarl was getting slightly concerned.
No, I wasn't.
At this
I wasn't
point,
because he was
I
playing
had lots
MVG.
of arguments on Twitter.
Yes, you did. And some of the comments were coming out. I thought there was a lot of German fans. So I thought the crowd was horrendous, and I thought that, to be honest with you, the whole of the German darts Twitter was coming for you in the mentions. But you go ahead, my friend. Floor's yours. I'll concede the floor.
To be fair, how many times did Russ Gray say the best of order, gentlemen?
See, this is the point I've got to make. Like, I absolutely adore every single one of the PDC officials. They're the best at what they do. They're absolutely solid. And to be honest, I aspire to be one of them. I started calling at county level. I really enjoy it. And you look at those the PDC officials, and they are all stunningly professional. They get on with the job. They don't make very many mistakes. They know the rules inside out. They're solid. But this is where they have to be stronger. I'm sorry, but if players' livelihoods are on the line here. All right, this is a little bit later. They've both won ranking money, whatever. But the chance to go on to be in the Grand Slam by winning the event, that has just been affected because some idiots are pissed up, right? And constant noise is absolutely fine. I have absolutely no problem with 7,000 people booing somebody, like pantomime at the end or jeering. But the odd like shriek or whistle or shout in a room that isn't quite as busy, that is deliberately designed to affect a player, is bang out of order, because the body's natural reaction is to tense because you're not expecting it, and that instantly drops the dart low. You've got absolutely no chance. You can't aim for it. There's none of this players should be prepared for it. No, they bloody well shouldn't. They should be prepared for loud noise and constant noise. Fine, that's absolutely okay. But the odd noise out of nowhere, deliberately designed to put somebody off, you physically cannot prepare for it. You can't do anything about it. If somebody startles you in the middle of your action, you have absolutely no control over it whatsoever. So this whole players should be used to it, players should be prepared for it is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. We don't get it any other sport. We've cultivated this environment and allowed it to grow, especially in the European tours, and it needs to be stopped.
I wish George Noble had been there for that game, because the Noble would have been all over it like he has been in the past. And Jar has done a goal.
I agree.
On us.
It's done a runner. I agree, but part of me thinks that the refs are aware of it. You can see the look in their face. You can see players having the odd conversation to them that isn't on the mic. And yeah, I'll have a word or whatever, or if it hasn't really affected the outcome. And the problem is that by next week, it'll be forgotten about. And then it will happen again next year on the Euro Tour. And then it will happen 6 weeks later. And then it will keep happening. And we have to stamp it out. There's only so many times I can start arguing with people on Twitter that it's a disgrace and bang out of order. That doesn't get us anywhere.
Definitely.
And it's not. It's no longer entertainment. The boos, the jeering, the constant noise is entertainment, right? That crowd wall of noise is entertainment. The deliberate putting people off isn't entertainment. It's costing people their livelihood, and it's wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, we'll continue with that, Jar. Last one, Michael Smith, 6-1 over Danny Noppet. And Michael Smith played some really good stuff. Noppy not at his brilliant best, but wasn't appalling. 93 average, but Michael Smith just looked really, really good in this game.
Yeah, he did. He looked sharp. He did what he does when he gets going. He was in full flow. He looked sharp. He took out a good Danny Noppert. Not the best Danny Noppert we've seen, but a solid Danny Noppert. We're not seeing any piss poor performances from Dan anymore. I've said this a few times in the last few weeks, but this time last year I was saying that Danny Noppert is my dream first round tie if you're a seed. Is he heck? He's one I want to avoid right now. He's in very, very good form. He's very, very consistent. Difficult to beat. His action is very mechanical. It doesn't break down at all. Very much a first start merchant again, but he's finding that first start more and more, and it's putting a lot of players under pressure. He's taken apart AD Lewis twice in 2 weeks. All right, Lewis isn't at his brilliant best, but the action at the start of both of those games has been superb. Danny's put him under pressure, and then it's faltered. He looks superb.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the semi-finals. Jar, nice of you to join us after the little gob break.
Yeah, is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah, we're calling it a gob break. Michael Van Gerwen beating Mensur Suljovic.
Everybody needs one of them.
And again, I'm not quite sure how Michael Van Gerwen has won this game, but he has. Mensur Suljovic missing match starts to knock out the green machine.
The crowd, though, again were dreadful.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there now. I missed the end of Gob's rant about the crowd, but look, end of the day, this is just toss from the crowds. Look, I've got to that stage now where if you're in that small an environment, I appreciate you can't just chuck 3,000 fans out the building or however many people it is normally in Risa. But if you're in that small of a crowd, as you say on Twitter, PB, chuck them out. Just chuck them out because it's needed. But that 140, by the way, to win the match was unreal. Super stuff from the Green Machine. That's probably the only notable. You're about to say that was the only notable quality I saw from the Green Machine that matchup. Ridiculous.
Yeah, you missed 25 darts at a double, and then you ping a 140. No sense whatsoever. But that's why we love this sport, gentlemen.
It's mad, really.
Second semi-final, a 7-3 victory for Joe Cullen, and he was mint in this game. Absolutely mint. His finishing was of the highest quality.
7-9, for Christ's sake. 7-9 on the checkouts.
It was, and it was superb. But this is what I said about Bully Boy earlier. When I mentioned earlier that when it got deep and late, I didn't fancy him. And despite beating Danny as comfortably as he did, he just never looked like he'd settled in that semi-final at all. And all right, Cullen got out the blocks early and was finishing really well, but Mike still had 11 darts at a double.
Yeah, no, I agree. But the positive is that Joe Cullen books another Euro Tour final, setting up a repeat of last year's one in
Mannheim, the European darts match play.
That's the one. I knew it was Germany, and I knew it began with an M, but I just couldn't. I wanted to say Mainz, but I knew it was wrong. It was Michael Van Gerwen against Joe Cullen. Yeah, we'll just remember, never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Well, it's like this. Actually, I've got to say this quickly. I've got to say very, very quickly. Actually, Dan Vernon in the comments, fair play to him, because I thought he was still MVG against Ross Smith. I completely forgot that does is obviously you had to withdraw, so it's MVG against Darius. It's like it's a repeat of the World Championship quarter final in Mannheim, but it's in Oberhausen. But this man, Phill, is just the third man in history to be the top seed at the European Championship.
And in the final, he was mint. He never looked like losing his final.
No, he was superb from start to finish. He looked comfortable. Like, all right, he's won a Euro Tour before, but the biggest compliment you can play is that 57 to win the match, it was never not gone. Just how cool and calm it was gone. Like, he just looked it. He was so assured of himself. Like he was just comfortable the entire way.
Right, I've got a lot of time for Joe, as people will have seen on my Twitter feed after last night. Here's the deal, though. MVG takes out, I think, was it a 1-1-6 to start off that matchup? And that was, again, a bit of a continuation for what happened at the end of the night against Mr. Sudovic. He then missed chances at darts to break the Cullen throw in those first 4 legs. What was crucial is that he missed them, and Cullen would then come back and then ping the dart in order to stay in the game and hold his throw. Then that's when Cullen really took control of that final on the 5th leg. Really, really good stuff from Cullen, with MVG nowhere near really in the 5th leg. And then from then on, he goes and wins the final. So look, I am going to maintain this now, that if MVG takes out 1 or 2 of those chances to make it 4-0, as he could have been, we could be having a completely different conversation this evening. We could be saying how MVG could be back. We could be saying this. I'm not taking anything away from Joe, because after that 4th leg, he played superb. But Van Gerwen had chances. Not like last week, where Jose just tore him a new one. Van Gerwen had a chance at the start of that match, and we could have been having a completely different conversation. But a bit of irony, really. Second Euro Tour title for Cullen, against the same player in the final, and the same scoreline, 8-5.
Yeah, congratulations to Joe. Superb achievement. So that was the Euro Tour setting up the European Championships. We'll come on to that shortly. I'm going to do a few questions. Kryptonite again. Right, the difference between Fallon at the Worlds and what happens in Germany is we were all at the Worlds, and yes, I'm not arguing there was a lot of booing when Ted was throwing for a double, but the players will tell you that they can deal with that better because they know it's coming than just a one-off whistle or shout, mate. That's the difference. I'm not saying either are right, by the way, but I'm just saying that's the difference. That when everyone's doing it, like it's almost the same as when they're cheering. It's just a one big mass noise. Yeah. But
the difference between booing is like a player when they're being booed is anxious of what will come afterwards. So if you miss, you're fearing the jeers and the cheers, and if they're booing, you want to give it them back when you hit it. So you put a little bit more on yourself to hit it. I'll be honest, we were at the TED game, and there was one guy whistling, right? And he whistled. It didn't affect the outcome because Ted still hit a dart, and there was 4 people sat around him, and every single one of them went straight up to him, went, "Do that again," and he didn't dare.
Yeah.
The crowd it was brilliant.
I'm just saying the mental game of the 2, I thought the mental game was worse. I'll be brutally honest. Saturday night, 21st of December, let's just say a few pissed up fans, a fair few of them, on a Saturday night, on a Christmas too. Well, exactly that, and like you got to get that. That's just how it works at the World Championships. Like you don't get a traditional darts crowd at the World Championships. Well, I'd say that. The only real place that you nowadays get a traditional darts crowd is Blackpool, and even that's becoming an absolute state at times. So, look,
if Michael Van Gerwen's playing, the Blackpool crowd hates him.
Yes, he's never been the most. Well, there's that. Yes. Do you know what? I think I've just noticed something here, Phil. I'm sorry to jump on this. I think our old friend Jack Garwood's in the front of the shot that you use at the back of the live lounge. I could see the old logo from the old show that we used to do.
That is me at the bottom. That is my nickname, Gobby. With the old logo. That. Yeah, that is in Blackpool.
I've done well without realising it. Right, moving on.
Hero.
Just what the screen needs. More me's.
The European Championship. The draw bracket is done. No draw required. It's plain and simple. You go down 1 place, 32. And vice versa all the way along. So no John McDonald's magic balls needed for this one. Right.
What are we talking about John McDonald's magic balls for? Well, what?
Well, you know.
Why not?
So let's do our normal thing, gentlemen. All the ties are up there so we can see them. Quarter it up. Yeah. Who comes through each quarter? And we can go from there.
Whoa, that top right corner to kick off with. Oh, my days. Oh,
Yes.
my God. That top right corner is brutal.
Bottom right's not much better.
Yeah, it is a bit. It's a lot better than. I mean, let's be honest with yourselves.
Yeah.
Potential Gerwin Price against Peter Wright in round 2. My goodness.
Well, that's a bit brutal.
Yes.
And potentially another matchup between Michael Van Gerwen and Mervyn King in round 2. Oh yes, please.
My favourite.
Please
Yeah.
do
Do
that.
you think Peter Wright? Do you think Peter Wright regrets dropping the last 2 Euro tours now?
No. Look, at the end of the day,
the second round maybe for Clemens. No.
But and also as well, at the same time, end of the day, he has to put his health first though, and I think that's what we have to put that there, especially for Joe as well. He wasn't well at the start of the year. Let's be honest about it. He's definitely done the right decision for him if that's the case. I'm surprised he's still going though. I'm very surprised he's still going. I wouldn't have thought he would have gone, but there you go. I suppose he's ranking, so
he's driving over. He's driving over.
That's going to be brutal for him. That's brutal.
But yeah,
driving. Some have already gone.
Yeah. So from quarter number 1, gentlemen, the comments are coming in on YouTube. We'll compare in a minute. Love it. Keep them coming in, guys. So, who are we doing from quarter number 1? Jarleth, to you first.
I'm going to go with the Asp, Nathan Aspinall. Just about. Yes. James Wade and Nathan Aspinall just must love playing each other in the last 16 of events at the moment. Because they've been playing each other the last 16 of the events the last couple of days, the last couple of occasions, and then these two are now playing, could potentially play each other again in the last 16 in round 2 this weekend in Oberhausen. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Asp, Nathan Aspinall. That's my pick.
Golf from the top right hand, the top left hand corner. Who are you going with?
I want to say Wadey, but the problem is if he puts in a good performance to beat Nathan, he'll do a chizzy and lose in the next one. I'm torn between him and Joe because Joe's not got the worst run, but then on TV against Wade or Aspinall, do I back him? Probably not at that point. No, I'm going to go Wadey. I'm going to stick with Wadey.
I am going to go for the machine. I am going with you. I think James Wade makes the semi-finals.
I don't know.
I just saw enough at the weekend to tip me for the machine. Bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to start with you this time, Gob. Who will play James Wade in the semi-finals?
Devon Peterson.
You're wrong for a kickoff.
I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
Because, right, hear me out. Darius doesn't have the belief in himself to beat Michael. But
yes,
Mervyn King does and will not make that mistake. If Michael is off his game, Mervyn will punish him. And that is what will happen. And then Devon will beat Mervyn.
You're wrong. Well, in that quarter of the draw, I'm also going to say this now. Martijn Kleermaker beats Rob Cross, the European champion, just like the match play champion, will lose in round 1, and I think Martijn Kleermaker will do him. There's only one man that is coming out of that side of the draw, and that is the Green Machine. Michael Van Gogh will be making a semi-final because. Yes. Look, I think he does play Devon in the quarterfinal, and he will want to make sure that Devon is put in his place once again, and that is what he does. Michael Van Gerwen, to me, will win this tournament. I will win this quarter. Excuse me. I don't know if he'll win this tournament, but he will win.
Whoa!
Right. Well, hang on. I'll start that again. He will win this quarter rather than this tournament. We'll come on to that a bit later, but he will win this quarter, and he will get through to the semi-final where he will play Nathan Aspinall.
I agree with Jar. However,
why are you trying to spin that one out when it's Michael Van Gerwen? Come on.
No.
The biggest shock of the day.
No, I'm saying it. If he
Phill,
plays
who
as
wins
bad
the
as he did
tournament?
this weekend,
Michael Van Gerwen.
no, I disagree. I don't think he does. If he plays as bad as what he did at the weekend, I think he gets ironed out by Lewandowski. So, however,
No.
I don't think he plays.
Lewandowski should have had a crack at him at the World and dropped his bottom.
Yeah,
but remember,
fair,
this is it. Hang on. Sorry, you can't compare the World quarterfinal to that. He's playing a best of 9 sets game against Michael Van Gerwen. He will be on it for 5 sets. That is just what he does. It's an 11-leg game, and I think Darius has got half a chance if he was playing decent stuff, and he is playing some good stuff. But I still maintain that Van Gerwen comes through. That's what he does.
Average in the 80s 2 or 3 times over the weekend. If he does that, Lewandowski's irons him out. But I don't think he's going to play that bad again this weekend. Well, look, I hope not anyway. So I'm going for Michael Van Gerwen to come through that quarter. Top right-hand side. This is where it gets interesting, gentlemen. Who's coming through that one?
It's your turn to go first, Jar.
I don't want to say this.
You go mental. Are you going mental?
Mental Sudovic gets through.
We've done him.
As much as I don't want it to happen, it's going to happen. Mensur Sudovic is playing with a freedom at the moment. Gerwyn Price does not look himself on the Euro Tour. We don't know what Peter Wright looks like since the Premier League, where he, in Gob's words, dropped his bottom. Krzysztof Ratajski is meant, and I look forward to that matchup again between those two, like we saw last week. Last weekend. Mensur Sudovic is playing the best darts in that quarter right now. I think Gerwyn Price is starting to tail off a little bit. Look, if Gessie comes through with the European Championship, I would love it. But he's going to lose in the quarterfinals to the gentle.
Gob?
Should have saved this quarter till last. I still don't have a clue. I think I can make a case. You can make a case for all 4 of them on the left-hand side to come through this, really. Gessie doing what Gessie does at the minute. Peter Wright is obviously a quality operator when he gets it right. Will the time away have done him some good if he's going to chop and change when he gets back up there? No hope. Mensur, like Jar just said, is back-to-back solid weekends. Looks a bit refreshed. And Ratajski doing what Ratajski does. Admittedly, Steve West is not the nastiest first-round draw he's had in a while, but to be put in this quarter, Ratajski, I know you make your own luck in sport, and sometimes it's what it is, but he gets absolutely no luck in TV draws. Like, they stitch you up every single time. But
I honestly,
I've got to go.
I'm going to say this now, really quickly, before you jump in that. I should have said this beforehand. Gabriel Clemens beats Peter Wright in round 1 as well.
I hope not, because I've just backed Snakey to win the quarter.
Ooh. That's a brave shout from you there, Gob.
I'm still clinging on for dear life. I'm still clinging on that he is the top dog.
Right.
And therefore I have to back him here.
From that top right-hand corner, I am going with the Welsh wizard. The Iceman, Gerwyn Price, comes through.
He just hasn't looked the same since the Grand Prix. And fair enough. Like, don't get me wrong. I can understand why he doesn't look the same, because at the end of the day, winning a major takes it out on you. But I just think Mensur's playing the best that he's looked in since the match play final of 2018.
So, the bottom right-hand corner.
This is wide open.
This is an absolute lottery. I know where I'm going. However, I go last.
No, I think you should go first on this one, Phil.
Okay, I'll go first. I am going.
I know where he's going.
For the ferret.
Never underestimate a ferret. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I am going for the ferret to set up an all-Welsh semi-final.
Apart from James Wade, Phil, I could have picked your picks for you. In fact, next time we do this, I'm going to pick Phil's picks.
I think
for the Grand Slam.
Because they're easier than picking my own. They're easier than picking my own.
I think Jose beats Jeffrey. Johnny beats Max. Michael edges Ross Smith in a thriller. Danny Noppert gets rid of Dirk.
Okay. Do you want to go next, Gob, or do you want to take it?
You go next. I'm still deliberating.
I've got a head pick and a heart pick in this quarter of the draw because I'm not going to lie to you. This is wide open. I am going to go with my heart and say that Buddy Boy comes through that quarter. Why not? Why not? My head, by the way, I'll say this now. My head is saying Noppy, but my heart is saying Michael Smith.
Do I have to make a decision now?
Yes.
I think it will be the winner of Danny Noppert versus Smith, but Ross Smith, not Michael Smith.
Ooh. Interesting.
And I just can't work out which one I'm going for because the difference is at the minute, Danny looks very, very good and Danny looks solid, but he doesn't produce an A-star game often enough, whereas we saw Ross at the weekend, 4-0 down against Gezi, went absolutely berserk, had the 112 average the game before that. Ross is, for a player with his ranking, has found a gear where he can take games away from people. And that's the worry if you're Danny. But I just think Danny's consistency gets him through that and the round after that. I'm going Noppert. I just think he's playing that well at the minute. I'd love it to be Ross Smith, by the way, but I am going Danny Noppert.
So we have our semi-finalists from the four of us. You know what's coming here, gentlemen? From the semi-finals, we have all picked. Who are we going to win?
Well, do you want to go through the semi-finals and who gets through them first? Because I don't mind doing that. I'll say now. I believe that Michael Van Gerwen gets rid of Nathan Aspinall in the semi-final. And I believe Mensel Sudovic gets rid of Michael Smith in the final. Sorry, the semi-final. So that sets up... I can't believe I'm doing this. I cannot believe I'm saying this. Michaal Van Gerwen against
Not only
Mensel
are you about
Sudovic
to do this, you're about to back Mensel to win the tournament.
No, I'm not. I'm not backing that. I'm not going that far.
See it in you.
The Green Machine wins. The Green Machine wins this comfortably. The Green Machine beats Mensel Sudovic in the final 11-6. Comfortable win. Mensel gets a bit of a... Mensel, though, would he get into the Grand Slam that way? I think he would do, wouldn't he? I think he gets into the Grand Slam that way.
Grand Slam.
Yeah,
correct,
so he gets into the Grand Slam. So he will be. So he'll be in the Grand Slam this week. By the end of the week. Yes, I think it will be. It will be Michael Van Gerwen back on television, back on ITV4. The last time that he won a major televised title was at the UK Open. It will be back on ITV4, and he will be the Unibet European champion.
Gob, over to you from your final four. Talk us through it, please.
Right, so if James Wade hasn't imploded already by this point, he will do at this point, and Devon Peterson will beat James Wade and put himself in the final. That one's solid, right? I love James Wade. I think he's superb, one of my favourite players of all time, but he's got him, and this is probably going to be when it is, if not first round, that I've backed him because he seems to every time. The other half is intriguing for me. Obviously, I've already lumped on Wright to get there. It just depends on which Wright is still there. Danny will be consistent, will average 95. But he's world champ for a reason, and I just think he's got it in him. Will pick this up and set himself up nicely for a run to defend it later on. Snakey beats Danny Noppert. And then this is a coin toss. I think it'd be amazing for the game if Devon Peterson went on to win this. But but I think Snakey wins it. I'm backing my man all the way.
Brave shout, though, him getting to the final.
We've got a Michael Van Gerwen win. We've got a Peter Wright win. Mine.
Here comes a Gerwen Price win.
Gerwen Price. Oh, sorry.
I don't know. You know,
Michael Van Gerwen.
I don't know. I don't know if he will, though. You know, sorry, Phil. I don't know if he will because MVG's still in the tournament.
Michael Van Gerwen beats James Wade comfortably in the semi-final. The all-Welsh affair.
You're not going Clayton.
Nope.
Oh!
He wants to go Clayton.
He doesn't. This is the worst acting I've ever seen. I'd book him for this on a Sunday.
No, he does. I think he does.
I'm going the Ferret to cause the upset. I'm going the Ferret to cause the upset and make the final.
Oh my God!
I think the way 2020 has gone, we have seen different winners all over the place. I am going for Johnny Clayton.
Sorry, hang on. No.
To the final.
No. I'm about to say you're not calling him to win it.
Johnny Clayton will play Michael Van Gerwen in the final. And in the year of 2020...
Oh, my God, he's going for
Johnny Clayton wins his first televised title in a repeat of what happened in the Masters in Milton Keynes. Johnny Clayton beats Michael Van Gerwen in the final.
Are you pissed?
No. Highland Spring. Other waters are
You should
available.
have vodka in there.
I just think the way
please,
you're
I might need some now.
See, hang on. You're suggesting the Ferret is going to be in next year's Premier League?
Yes. There's
What
a
Premier League
spanner
that is?
going in the works, and it's called the Ferret.
I mean, look, if you, I'm not going to lie to you.
You know how well we've been doing the last few weeks. We've just lost all credibility.
Yeah, look, I'm not being funny. If you wanted a run to get through to a semi-final, that ain't a bad quarter to go through. I'm not lying to you. I think the Ferret will probably will make a quarter final. I just think that Smith will do him. But the Ferret to win a title? That's a brave shout there, Phil Bart.
Underestimate the Ferret.
Now,
We've
I'm not
seen
being funny.
Jose win on the Euro Tour. We've seen Johnny. We've seen numerous winners all over the place. We've seen Dimitri Van den Berg win his first title. We've seen Devon win his first title. I think the year of 2020 is the year of the shocks.
But there's shocks.
I completely agree with that.
If this comes off, if the Ferret comes off and wins this title, we are going to have to eat some humble pie next week when we're talking to Phil Bars. But I can't see it happening.
I'm on holiday.
I can't see it.
Me neither, because there's no way Gezi gets through that quarter of the draw only to lose to Johnny.
Gentlemen, at the match play, before a dart was thrown, did anyone see Dimitri Van den Berg winning the match play?
Yes.
At the beginning of the Grand Prix, did anyone see Dirk van Dijvenbode get into the final?
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's one of those years. Right, gents, we will continue to talk about this. We will continue to talk about this more, no doubt, but we are now going to bring in Tizzle back to the show. Tiz, can you hear us, buddy?
I can hear you loud and clear, gents. Been enjoying the show. How are we doing?
Yeah, all good,
mate. See you, mate. Really good to have you back on.
For those that don't know, Tiz
put these idiots in their place with some well-researched numbers.
Tiz is one of the best social media tipsters around. We had him on for the Grand Prix. We've got him back to have a look at the European Championship. So, Tiz, what have you found for us, and what are you liking and what aren't you liking?
So I've gone in with another first round accumulator, as I did last time around, and I've gone for 3 outright selections as well. I've brought my toolbox with me because I've also got some spanners to chuck in there. So you boys have all disagreed on everything, and I think, to be honest with you, I think there's going to be a few getting thrown my way, to be honest, because I've gone for some pretty out there selections as well, probably in your guys' eyes. So I'll come to them afterwards. I think I'm going to start off with the first round ACCA, which I've picked, and I've gone with a 5-fold at pace 17-2, and it's best odds, as all bets that I've picked today. They're all best odds with Bet365 for this competition. So to start us off, now I know already someone's disagreed with me on this one. I think it was you, Jarleth. Basically, I'm going with Peter Wright to beat Clements. That's what I'm going to start with. It's 1-3. It's the shortest odds bet that I've gone in. I think it is a little bit short, to be honest with you. But I've gone with it. I think there's a lot of bets that I like the look of, but there's some short odds bets in the first round. I think that was in terms of a short odds bet, that was the most reason one I could pick to put in.
Yeah, the only concern I've got with that, Tiz, and I'll be honest with you, is because we haven't seen Peter Wright since the Premier League, where he lost his bottom against Nathan Aspinall when he was talking up again, and he was talking and messing about with darts and all that sort of stuff. So, and Clements in Germany with that crowd on his back could be doing bits, even if it is only 250. They will make some noise there. So, look, on paper, I'm absolutely with you, but it's a shorter game and everything like that. But if he wins it, it would be a surprise. But that's my shock of the round. I'm going with Clements to win.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We don't know how the schedule change is going to affect Peter. I'm hoping it might give him some more incentive. It's obviously putting a big tournament here. Obviously, we know about the situation with the World Cup as well. His calendar has been significantly reduced. So does that also put the mindset in him that when he turns up to these tournaments, actually his mindset is, I've got to go out there and I've got to put in big performances from the off, and basically can't be complacent. I'm hoping that's his mindset, and I'm hoping that's going to get him through the first round. So yeah, he's my first selection. Second one going in there, I'm going for James Wade to beat Lennon. Wadey, you've picked up on it earlier yourselves, guys. He has been playing well. He's picked it up again recently. He's had a good last couple of weekends, so I've gone for Wadey in there. He's 2-5, so again, it's reasonably short, but I think at them odds, it's definitely a backable bet. So Wadey to beat Lennon is my second bet that's going in there. Next in there, we spoke about him just a second ago. Cullen to beat O'Connor. Obviously, Cullen comes into the tournament as the number 1 seed with a win at the weekend. O'Connor obviously been drafted in with Duzza missing out with the COVID. So I'm gonna back Cullen to go in there at 4-9. I think he should come through that one, to be honest with you, with the form that he's in right now. I don't know what you guys think to that one. How
about the odds on this? It's a decent bet. Obviously, I'm going to be biased against the fact that I think Clemens will be right. But how about the odds on this one? Odds on that Bet365 or in play with Ray. Willie O'Connor to walk on to the Cranberry Zombie rather than won't back down.
You see, I like it. I'd be all for that. Yeah. And I'd be singing in my bedroom. Take me back to my teenage angst years. Yeah, I'm all for that. Yeah. If someone could get it, I think someone's got to tweet him that. I think someone's got to try and get that to happen.
Please.
Yeah, so
I'd love it. If the Cranberry Zombie ever made it onto ITV4's coverage of the European Championships, that would be my night made.
Yeah, absolutely love that one. If he does that, do you know what? If he does that, yeah, I'd have to take my bet out and back him. I'd just back him for the love. Then I'd be going with the heart of my head. I'd have to back him. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, next one in to make it 4. Peterson versus Andy Hamilton. So I like Peterson to win, but his odds are a bit short, 1-4. I'm not going to be putting anything at them sort of odds. So I looked at the most 180s market, and I think at 4-7, I think that's backable. I think that's good for me. His scoring's gone up another level this season. So I think Peterson, most 180s, is a decent little bet to go in there at 4-7. Are you guys having that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Good. Really good stuff,
really
I think.
that.
So, yeah. Definitely.
Right, happy days. Right, we've got one we can agree on there. Then that's all good. Next in, right, this here. So there's been some conversations about both of these players, and we're going to come back to this one again in a minute for me. So Sulovic versus Daryl Gurney. Gurney, he's not had his best year. He hasn't had his best year. You know where I'm going with this already. So Sulovic, he's near on evens. He's 10 to 11. He's 10 to 11 this weekend for the first round. I'm going with it. It's an odds booster for the Acker. I think the form that he's on at the moment, I think he's the man in this game. So I am putting him in there, and that's essentially where I am getting the odds that I'm getting now, 7 to 2. Because before I put him in, we're looking at 17 to 2. It is the Acker is 17 to 2. I saw a confused face there. The Acker is 17 to 2. But before I was going to put him in, the Acker would have been 7 to 2. So this essentially is you're near enough, more than doubling my odds here on this bet now by putting in Mensah Sulovic. So that for me is my value bet. I'd say of the first round in terms of the win bet. That'd be my value bet. Would be Sulovic to beat Gurney. What are you guys thinking?
Have we got an over under?
I know that.
Have we got an over under market of how long the session's going to be? Can we go over 7.5 hours? Jeez, 16 bloody games.
Long.
Yeah, let's put this way. I'm hoping look, breaks in the game.
But no, you know my thoughts on the right Clements bet, but everything else I'm absolutely on board with. But yeah, I think everything else I'm totally on board with. But there we go.
I mean, the good thing, to be honest, if you wanted to back that bet, and if you wanted to take what's it called, right out, then you'd essentially still be getting Clements, out, you'd be getting odds of around sort of 6 to 1 anyway. So you'd still be
not bad market,
a good price there. Yeah,
absolutely.
You'd still be at a good price there. So yeah, it's definitely it'd be worth backing as a fourfold there for you, to be honest, if you fancied that.
Yeah, but I think so. I think
So after that, then obviously, go on.
Outrights, where are you thinking, Tiz? I know you like a longer shot because there's not much value in the favourites.
Yeah, we spoke about this earlier, Phil. So if I had to go for the shortest odds bet I could probably go with, I'm staying away from the free favourites. I'm staying away from MVG at the moment. It was hard to do because, to be honest with you, looking at his run to the final, this could be as good as he could get it. I think potentially. I think the right-hand side there's a few more in there that could catch you out early on. I think he's actually got a fairly decent run for the first few games. But I'm just going to stay away from MVG at the moment, the way things are. Wright and Price, I don't like the fact that they can face each other in the second round. I think that's a bit of a tricky one. So, and obviously, Price, we haven't seen the best of Price in the last few tournaments. As you mentioned, Wright has obviously struggled in his last time that we saw him out as well. So, the lowest I could go, I'd go Aspinall. I think Aspinall, obviously, we saw in the Premier League, he was nearly there. Obviously, a resilient dozer was, do you know what I mean? And too much on the day, obviously, having the throw advantage maybe helps as well to some point. But I think Aspinall, if I was to go on my nose, Aspinall would be my shout at 10 to 1 if I was to go on my nose. But them odds is still backable each way. I don't know if you guys would agree with me on that. And obviously, we have had MVG backed today. But if I had to go 3 outright selections, he'd be the lowest odds that I could go with. And I've got 2 more here, which I'm getting ready. I'm bracing myself now because I'm going to get some stuff thrown at me. So the second one, I think this is good odds. Sulovic. I think he's good odds.
I'm with you. I am with you all the way. With you all the way on this.
Yeah.
I've just looked at the odds myself. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil the odds, but I've just looked at it on Ladbrokes. I cannot believe the odds that he's at right now.
Yeah. So you can get Sulovic for 40 to 1. And as Phil's mentioned, this is the year 2020 where anything goes. Right? Anything goes now. The crowds ain't there anymore. Anything goes. So essentially, a lot of it's like playing on the floor. You see different game plans from people and you get different motivations, different incentives. And I think 40 to 1 for Mensah Sulovic, you could be one of the most frustrating players to play against. We've seen it time and time again where people struggle to bring their game to someone like Mensah because he can slow it down to that level, play at his pace. He's not phased how his opponent's playing. And I think with the side of the draw that he is on, obviously Price and Wright, they can eliminate each other. Clements could eliminate Wright. We don't know. That's a tricky little quarter there. But I think Sulovic has got the easiest first couple of games out from that quarter. And after that, I don't think that half below that, I think that's an all right quarter. That bottom right quarter, I don't think it's too much for him to overcome at the moment. So I think that half there, I think Sulovic has got a nice little run of it at 40-1. He'd be my each way shout from that side of the draw. So I can already see one person agreeing. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I can get right now, again on lads, I know you've gone with Bet365, but on lads, I can get Mental to reach the final at 16-1. That is not a bad shout. And I am one of the world's worst fans of Mental Sulovic, but you've got to back the Austrian when he's playing well.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I just think it's a great bet. The way I've looked at it, the last few tournaments now, I think from a betting perspective, and even as a casual gambler, I think just look at the outer markets. Just look at the each way shouts now. I think darts is no longer this season. What we're seeing, it's no longer the reign of dominance that we have seen from previous champions. We are seeing all sorts of people turning up on tournaments and fancying themselves. NVG, the air of invincibility seems to have gone. Peter Wright, Gerwin Price can turn up on the day, but this year has just seen anything goes. And I think you've got to start looking now past and looking at these H-way shouts and looking past the sort of the top 6 seeds. I think your value is further down in the betting markets, in my opinion now. And that's why my second selection will be Sulovic. Third, we're going to go with the Machine. And I also think he's good odds. He's 35-1. And we've touched upon that side of the draw again. So where it can come tricky is where I've obviously backed my first selection, Aspinall. So he will meet Aspinall. I believe it could be the third round. Let's get it up again. I believe it could be the third round where he's going to end up meeting Second, sorry. Yeah. So
no, that's right.
I mean, yeah, it's an obvious risk. There's an obvious risk there, but at 35-1, I'm willing to take that risk. He's beaten Aspinall last week? Was it this week? Last weekend? He's beaten
last weekend.
Yeah. Was it 6-3? Was it? Yeah. He's just beating Aspinall.
Tiz, you know what? Tiz, do you know what? Who knows? Tiz, do you know what? Who knows what it was? Exactly. It's just the whole of 2020 is blurring into one, pal.
Yeah. So yeah, but he's just beating Aspinall. So he's gonna have some confidence about him. He's gonna fancy his chances coming into this tournament. I think 35-1, the side of the draw that he's on. Obviously, he could come against MVG at some point, but do you know what? He won't. I don't think he'll be too phased at the moment. I think the way that Wade is playing, from what he's seen of the players that he's going to come up against, he's not going to be thinking about other players' games. He's just going to go up there and do what Wade does. He's just going to try and be a steady performer, hit his doubles, and try and get his way to the final. So I think at that side of the draw, I think the value lies with James Wade.
I like that.
I can get behind that.
Gob's ears just pricked up as soon as you mentioned the word James Wade and value.
He is. Yeah, look, it's an ITV4 tournament.
He does love an ITV4 tournament, especially with the money that he's defending this time round.
Well, yeah,
well, exactly that. I got tonight.
No, I really like them two. To be fair, not a problem with them at all.
Tiz,
and again,
I'll be honest
social
with you,
media.
Yeah, Tiz, I'm honest with you, pal. I'm going to go. I think that's Sulovic bet at the moment. It's just too big. I've just lumped 20 quid on each way on Sulovic because that is just too big a price at 40-1. Huge.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's the value bet of the tournament from that side, especially. But yeah, I do think he's probably the best value you'll find for this tournament.
Watch him now, though. Go out round one because we've lumped on him. That is just how it works.
It's always the way. We said it's 2020.
Yeah. Says, from a social media point of view, are you seeing a real buzz around the darts at the moment? Obviously, where football's a little bit sterile, where there's not a lot going on in terms of audience and stuff like that. Are you seeing more around the darts scene on social media still?
Yeah, we touched upon it earlier. I mean, the bookies are also getting involved a lot more, which is great from a betting perspective as well. The bookies have obviously noticed a shift in the behaviours, the patterns of what people are betting on. You've seen more money getting spent on darts. The live streams have increased on the bookies. They're putting more and more games up. We're seeing more and more televised games as well. And I think it has. I think it's definitely had an impact on it. Obviously, darts, we're starting to see that we can get crowds in certain venues and stuff now as well, which is going to start helping out again. I think the way certain sports are going, obviously football, I think it's losing certain appeal without the crowds. And I think it is seeing a shift in people looking at different sports as well. The unpredictability probably of football and other sports as well has probably made people think, actually, I'll try my hand at different sports to bet on. So from a betting perspective, there's definitely been a shift in emphasis and more people are taking an interest in darts. Obviously, the World Championships, we know, I think since the World Championships even, that was a great tournament with just some of the stories that we got from that. Obviously, Phill and Peter Wright winning for the first time. Obviously, there was some really good stories from the World Championships. And I think since then, the growth of the sport has taken another really positive step in the right direction. So I think even since then, I think this has been as much as obviously whatever's happened, it's been a good year for darts, regardless of the fact the COVID thing has happened, which is obviously that's the big negative. But there's still been a lot of growth in darts. The way that it's adapted to the situation, I think it's probably been a shining light for the sport because a lot of other sports have struggled to do that, whereas darts actually found other avenues with the live streams and getting things behind closed doors. They were one of the first to get it out there and been able to actually give that output. So I think it's been a very positive, a big positive for darts this year.
Tiz, absolute pleasure to have you on as always, buddy. I know we spoke to you about doing some more stuff for the Worlds. Can't wait to get you involved with some of the ideas we have as well, mate. Much appreciated for your time as always, bro.
Cheers, Tiz.
Much love, guys. Great to be on. See you later. I'll enjoy the rest of the show.
Ta-da, mate.
Ciao, mate.
Well, guys, that was the betting side of it, and I think he's got it absolutely nailed on with some of them guys, don't you?
Look, mate, I honestly, I cannot believe that I'm backing Mental Sudovic to potentially win a title, but at 40-1, it's just too big at the moment.
Definitely. Right, let's time.
I like
Remember, everyone, get your questions in on the chat on YouTube. We're going to start running through them all. I know there's been loads. The interaction's been absolutely superb, guys. We appreciate it. Lendl, I don't know if you're still watching, but I did see your deleted message, and Lou does a great job, and I'm sure he'd help you out. Again, no Glenn Durrant because of COVID reasons. Bitter blow for Duzza, would have been there or thereabouts, but obviously health, and he's got 3 big weeks in Coventry to potentially look forward to. So wishing Duzza a speedy recovery from there. We touched on the MVG bit, always a favourite.
Sorry, I've just seen a comment here about a certain Dutchman. Look, let's just leave it there. We've already talked about him enough.
On the match officials, I don't know precisely, but I know Russ Bray is there. I believe Paul Hinks is travelling for the first time. And Kirk, I think, are the ones for that one, Daz.
Please.
Not underestimating Gurney at all.
I don't think it's underestimating Gurney at the minute. I'll be honest. I think he's in complete disarray. He's not performing as a top 8/top 16 player. He looked like he turned it around a little bit as we came back. He did well to avoid relegation from the Premier League, but his fight just seemed to go straight away after that. It was always going to be a tough ask to qualify for finals night, but I just don't think the fight or desire was there. I don't think he's scoring as heavily as he normally does, and he doesn't look as confident on the doubles, and that's his game in a nutshell. So, yeah, he's not going to suddenly start dropping out the top 32 anytime soon, but Daryl Gurney isn't a top 8 player at the minute, and he won't be making the Premier League, in my opinion.
Get in there! Sorry, Spurs have just scored.
Obviously, Spurs. Shock horror. Do you know what? You've done really well. Lads,
it's Burnley.
Lads, it's
anyway,
Burnley.
Back to being professional, talking about darts.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
just Just talking about the MVG Sudovic thing here. Look, everyone knows I'm one of the biggest MVG fans going, but he's only averaged a ton once. Well, he's only averaged a ton once in, I think, 14 games. Look, that's not form.
He used to only not average a ton once in 14 games.
Exactly. This is why he's beatable by anyone at the moment. And this is what we're saying. Look, in the semi-final against Wade, he turned up and the click of a fingers, it's there. But it's not there all the time, which is why we're looking at value elsewhere, because we don't know what MVG is going to turn up right now. Look, he's still absolutely amazing on his day. There's no doubt about that. With a few tournaments left, who of the new tool card holders will make the top 64 by the end of the year? Oh, good question.
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. Looking at it, I'm pretty sure Lisa Ashton is going to be near enough damn it there, especially if she's going to the... have we got any confirmation that the Grand Slam's going to be on her ranking money?
No, but I haven't.
Martin Clearmacher as well has got half a chance.
Clearmacher's got a great shot.
You've obviously got... Yeah. You're looking at these, obviously, Jason Lowe's not had a bad year, has he?
No.
Rate him.
For me, Clearmacher...
Dirk, for Christ's sake. Look at Dirk. He got to talk about this year. Yeah. He got to talk about this year.
Dirk can't lose in that.
No. Yeah, no, I agree. Great question. Really, really like that. When's the Grand Slam draw? Your guess is as good as mine. The way Coventry is stacked, there's probably going to be a day between the draw and day one. Or
because they've got the Slam qualifier. They've got the Slam qualifier on the 9th of November. Then they've got the Winter Series through to the 14th of November. Then they've got the day off. So I imagine that's when the Slam's going to happen. The draw's going to happen, and then they go straight into the Slam.
I reckon the draw will happen pretty much as soon as the Winter Series finishes. So probably around 6:30 on the last day of the Winter Series, we'll have the Grand Slam draw, I should imagine.
We'll hopefully have a live lounge on that Saturday night, but I don't know if we will, because obviously you might have to go down to Coventry and bubble again.
We don't know what's going on test-wise and that yet, but yeah, we'll definitely have something. But yeah, that's the Grand Slam draw. It's probably going to be straight after that. Who do you think will get through the Grand Slam qualifier? Well,
that's a point. Doesn't the Winter Series get a spot? So they'd have to do a Winter Series and then the qualifier and then the draw.
No, the qualifier
is before the Winter Series. It's the only way they could get it done.
That's a bit daft.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a first reserve from the qualifier?
Well, no, I imagine what they'll have to do is whoever is the highest, whoever the highest non-player in the Grand Slam of the Winter Series is, will get that slot. I imagine.
Yeah. Who do I think is going to come through that qualifier?
Wayne Jones.
Can we? Yes.
Is Jones even playing anymore? With all respect to the bloke, I haven't seen his name for a long time. Yeah, he is. He got his talk up back this year. He'll get through because it's not Wolverhampton, but he makes the Slam every year. Probably chuck Alan Tabern in there as well. Alex Roy, he's normally in the UK Open, wasn't there this year, so he'll sneak into the Grand Slam somehow.
Robert Thornton will be there.
Nah,
he'll be there just like because he always does. Trying to think of anything more. Brendan Dolan potentially as well. 8.
I fancy Dobes. I think Dobes will come through the qualifier.
I think, yeah.
Dobes, Hector. I think Hector's a good. Oh, he's already there, isn't he?
Yeah, Hector's obviously there. Yep.
Yeah. Who else do I like the look of that's playing well but hasn't qualified? Ross Smith. I think he's playing very well, unless he manages to qualify before that. But I think he's just playing too good to not make it. Mensah, yeah.
Mensah, yeah.
I'm going to check this one out. I think Kim Hybrex will sneak through.
No, I'm not having it.
You're wrong. No.
Few more weeks for these darts as well. I think Max Hopp might sneak through a qualifier as well.
No. I'm not having this. No.
Ron, we'd love to see the seniors tour. Yeah, I think we all would know, and I believe there's been some movement on that. I think I've seen some noise on social media that people have been talking. So fingers crossed on that, because I think the senior tour adds massive value. Heta, people agreeing with Heta,
and it means a certain someone doesn't have to go back through the pro tour. Off with you. Sing Europe.
God, you do realise that you do realise that said certain someone, he who shall not be named, could be at this year's Worlds. You do realise that, don't you?
Yay. Well, you can do the interview, not me.
He will be. He will be.
Darren Young can beat him on a cold, drab Thursday night with an 82 average. Yes, please. Ooh, what a fanfare. What a comeback.
Yeah. Hendo being talked about as well. I like that. Remember, guys, right, last couple of minutes here, because we've taken up enough of your time. Any more questions, get them in now as time is running out. Whilst any last ones we have. Go on, Jar.
Yeah, I was about to say, you've obviously got an exclusive for us, an actual exclusive, unlike people that say they have an exclusive and don't. You actually have an exclusive for us, online.
Do we?
Yes. You literally posted it 4 hours ago.
Well, yeah, I was winding you up. Yeah, Ricky Evans joining MDA, which was nice to sit down with them.
That's a good signing for them. That's a really good signing for Ricky Evans.
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to sit down and chat with them. We also have a competition, guys. I managed to smuggle one of these out of Coventry. We've got a signed Glenn Durrant Unibet Premier League program from the Premier League, signed by the winner. And remember, not everyone's got one of these because there was only 5 Premier Leagues we've had fans. So we will get that on social media shortly, ladies and gents. So that while the Barney negativity, I think we're just all fed up of his comeback. Just stay retired.
No, he said RVB's a negative Nancy, and that's being polite about it. Yes, totally agree with you on that one.
How do you think Team England will do at the World Cup?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Look, it's one of those teams that we saw Rob Cross go and average 103 this week. We just don't know. They could both turn up and be brilliant, or they could both turn up and be shite. Your guess is as good as mine.
Also, don't know who's going to turn up and play against them at the minute in the first round.
Well, as it stands, Matt was on with the Sky Sports pod, and he says that the Philippines are still in.
Yeah. Ooh. So there was clarification that came afterwards that the letter had been mistranslated to start with, and there was discussion ongoing between the PDC and the Philippines Darts Association, or whatever their initials are, about trying to get some exemptions for the players. So we're still waiting to hear back on those discussions. But yeah, if the Philippines are there, it immediately makes the tournament far more watchable. They're both mints.
Yeah, no, definitely. Right, everyone, I want to thank you very much for joining us on this week's Online Darts, the Live Lounge. It has been absolutely amazing, as always.
Just a quick one before we go. Just a really quick one. This show has almost has been as long as the Thursday afternoon session is going to be at the European Championships.
Almost, but we haven't had an ad break yet.
Get the Fratellis, Chelsea Dagger playing now.
But everyone, I want to thank you so much for your continued support. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're doing an amazing job. Just want to thank you all for joining us every Monday as we are doing it. I've been Phill Bars, of course, been joined by Jack Obigar and Jarleth and gentlemen, it has been emotional as always, and we will see you all and you two Thursday for what's going to be an absolute packed European Championships.